I'm back.
Today we're going to talk about bilocation. Is bilocation the same as astral projection, soul travel, spirit travel? Well, today I'm going to give you my own views, perspective, and revelations on bilocation, and I'm going to share with you why bilocation is relevant to the time that we are living in now. But before I get into that, I'm going to read just a little bit of the wiki definition of bilocation, and I'm going to make some general references to bilocation, but I'm not going to read all of this for sake of time because I don't want this video to be too long. Bilocation, or sometimes multi-location, is an alleged psychic or miraculous ability wherein an individual or object is located or appears to be located in two distinct places at the same time. The concept has been used in a wide range of historical and philosophical systems, ranging from early Greek philosophy to modern religious stories, occultism, and magic. Several Christian saints and monks are said to have exhibited bilocation. Among the earliest is the apparition of Our Lady of Pillar in the year 40. Other Christian figures said to have experienced bilocation include Saint Anthony of Padua, Ursula Michaela Morata, Saint Gerard Magella, and they go on to list many other names. In the 17th century, persons accused of witchcraft were reported to appear in dreams and visions of witnesses. The trials at Bury St. Edmunds, and Salem included this spectral evidence against defendants. Matthew Hopkins described the phenomenon in his book, The Discovery of Witches. The English occultist Aleister Crowley was reported by acquaintances to have the ability, even though he said he was not conscious of it happening all of the time. Vladimir Lenin was seen in his Moscow Kremlin office digging through papers on October 1923 while he was critically ill in Gorky. Another mystical story involves Soviet author Yevgeny Petrov, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it, served as inspiration for the film Envelope, 2012, starring Kevin Spacey. Paranormal author Rodney Davies has written a book on the history of bilocation. Now, I'm bringing this up because just like astral projection became mainstream and it took more of us coming forth to share our experiences and revelations about it, bilocation is the next level. And I'm going to tell you guys that there is a difference and why there is a difference between soul travel, astral projection, and bilocation. It appears that bilocation is more of a functionality, a dormant ability within the DNA of the physical body, whereas astral projection, soul travel, is more of a projection of consciousness into our subtle energetic bodies that are vibrating outside of this light spectrum. Let me break it down more concisely. Think of an atom. We are composed, the physical body is composed of trillions of atoms, neutrons, protons, you know the whole shebang. If atoms had the ability to split, it then would make sense, and the probability of the physical body splitting in the same way. As I've said through many of my videos, we are in a world, a realm of extreme limitation. And I have to keep saying this because There are new people coming on board. I can't break down the basic nature of reality and really bring this home as to how and why all of these things are possible. So for those of us who are new, please go back and reference my older videos and come up to this point so I don't have to continue to keep repeating myself, especially for those who've been riding this journey with us almost from day one or from day one. Some of you guys have been with me from day one, but I digress. Just like atoms had the ability to split, the physical body has the ability to do so as well, but due to being in a realm of extreme limitation, which is loosening and it is changing vibrationally, spiritually, but bilocation is more or less related to the physical vehicle, the physical body. Now, I feel that monks and the people that have been referenced throughout history who have tapped into or who are tapping into this ability have done so through a lot of dedication, focus, and training, meditation on doing this. They went to mystery schools and they learned how to do this at will, to master it. However, we are in a time where there are those of us who have a soul. The revelation is strong. Only those of us who have a soul will have the intent and consciousness and level of awareness, and have those of us who have mastered our energy or who are mastering our energies on a level enough. We will be spontaneously bilocating. This has already begun. I have already gotten emails from a couple of people over the years who have given me explicit details as to their own bilocation experience. It was the spring of 2008 at a former place of employment. I was having lunch with 3 former co-workers, and we had gotten into a discussion about consciousness, the nature of reality, and what we would call, or many would deem as, the supernatural or paranormal. One gentleman had begun sharing an experience where he had met 3 very tall, extremely wise men who appeared to be African American, or what many would call black. He spoke of how wise these men were, and they were sharing a lot of information and things that really went over his head at the time. But their main goal was to help this young brother and the others who were with him to understand who and what they really were. He began to tell of what he had witnessed with his own eyes. He kept repeating himself, "I know what I saw. I'm not crazy. This really happened." We all, meaning the other young men who were with him, saw one of these guys walk through a solid wall. Now, this was the very first time that I had actually communicated with someone who had seen this with their own eyes or had experienced bilocation. This is what had actually happened. These men were very, very wise and had mastered the lower self, their energy, and their consciousness to such a level that these men projected or bilocated and met with these young men and demonstrated what they are capable of. The young man who had shared this experience with me, his name will not be mentioned for obvious reasons. If he so want to come forth and speak on this, that's his choice. But I'm just sharing the story, the very first time that someone had shared such a story with me. And needless to say, when this brother had stated that when he had seen this with his own eyes, everything that he had come to believe to be true was questioned, and he had begun going down the path of higher knowledge, seeking more, looking for more, because obviously seeing something like that is definitely going to change your paradigm, your perception, your belief system, and so on and so forth. So it is, as it always has been, experience that ultimately gets us moving in the direction that we need to in order to better understand who and what we are. Now, when we bilocate in this reality, we are doing so within the same light spectrum. So what does that mean? Unlike astral projection, soul travel, spirit travel, one has to have their mind's eye activated or open, or their awareness has to be expanded enough to be able to interact and see one who is astral projecting, or to interact or perceive beyond those realms where astral projection and soul travel is taking place, which is, again, will be on another frequency just outside of this light spectrum. Bilocation, however, is different because it is literally the splitting of the physical vessel. And so that means that we, everyday people walking this earth right now, will be able to see someone who is bilocating with the naked physical eyes. Why? Because this is occurring within the same frequency or light spectrum. And so therefore, those of us who are in the fourth dimension and beyond, or whatever dimensional realm we are on, we will be able to see one who is bilocating. As I've already said, this has begun occurring because this matrix is, for lack of a better word, it is under construction energetically, technologically, and of course they're opposing sides trying to come about or generate a certain outcome, or trying to sway this thing in a certain way. When it's all said and done, Mother Earth and the all has the final say. The earth is splitting like an atom, and therefore many of us here on earth who has a soul, who has worked on ourselves, who have expanded our consciousness, we will find ourselves being aware of splitting as well. And yes, we will have people who will tell us that they saw us here or they talked to us there, and we may not have any conscious memory of it. Some of us will have. Again, it all depends on the amount of work we put into ourselves, balancing energy, connecting more with our core, our inner self, understanding more of the nature of reality. This is what is going to separate those of us who will really tap into this and become one with this versus those of us who will not. Now, I have blogged about a couple of experiences as it relates to this. I'm not going to talk about them in these videos because I want to encourage more of my viewers to come to AstralBooBaby.net, where I'm very present now. I wasn't as much in the past because I was being, my attention was being pulled in so many directions, and I do apologize to the brothers and sisters who signed up to the site at the site in the very beginning, and they did not see me there as often as I should have. I have changed that. I'm very interactive and involved in the forums, and I post more blogs. I've been doing it more than I've ever done it in the past 4 months, and this will continue. So if you would like to know more about my personal experience with bilocation and how I'm discovering and decoding this, go to AstralBooBaby.net and check out the blogs that I have done about them, as well as some other things that I share there. My main motivation is to help more of us to understand who and what we really are, to provoke thought, because when we provoke thought, it creates inner dialogue. And I love to provoke thought by using and doing things that are outside of the norm. This is how we truly expand our consciousness and our awareness and get outside the box. I'm going to draw this one to a close. I thank you for sharing this time with me. And until the next time we meet, have a be more time.